All right, you'll notice that I'm using some of yesterday's moves to warm things up.
Is that the sandwich?
This is the sandwich.
And I guess the sandwich is as good of time as any to mention that most of these stroke names are made up. And we'll tell you the ones that are real names that you should know for like the test. So like tip Holtman is also called percussion, and that's a real name that you should know. And all these other things are just made up.
So I'm not going to get quite as up into the calf as yesterday because I think you guys have that pretty solidly. I'm going to give you lots of massage time. All right. Okay, who wants to read the first one to me?
The bonus relaxation or the squeeze and squish?
The squeeze and squish.
Squeezing and squishing feels amazing. To the often used and rarely appreciated feat. Use a pincer grasp or whatever creative position you like to squeeze each part of the foot that you can. While holding the squeeze, push, that's the squeeze. Do this repeatedly. For example, you can squeeze the ankle and squish towards the heel. Do not do this to a pregnant woman. You can squeeze the medial and lateral aspects of the foot at the same time or separately while squishing towards the toes and or towards the heel. Try this anywhere on the foot.
Why can't you do this on a pregnant woman?
Yeah.
You avoid the ankle area for acupressure reasons. There's a point that can cause the uterus to contract,
Whoa,
and so
crazy.
it's unlikely to cause any problems, but just out of an abundance of caution, we avoid it.
Just the medial ankle. You can do everything else.
Isn't this supposed to do the same thing?
Yeah, I'm speaking of the foot. But yes.
I love to start a foot massage with a heel squeeze just because I feel like for most of our techniques don't incorporate the heel quite as much.
So you don't do this one side to side, you just do this one up and down the foot?
I mean, you can do it side to side, I suppose, if you wanted to.
Would you like to see us using the techniques yesterday as well as this additional ones, like how we started yesterday?
Yes, it's nice to keep mixing them in.
All right. All right, so this one I'm just kind of like almost folding the foot a little bit, just giving it a little squish. All right, what's the next one?
The duckbill, squeeze and squish. Hold your hands in a duckbill position with your fingers together on the bottom of the foot and your thumbs together on the top of the foot. Squeeze and squish the whole foot from the heel to the sole and vice versa, back and forth. You can either apply pressure with just your index finger for stronger pressure or with all of your fingers.
What's different about this and the rib cage one?
You're not getting specifically in between the bones here. Although the rib cage one would be a good transition from this position.
I'd say feel it more on the bottom of my foot than her focusing on the rib cage. She's focusing on both. It's almost like she's giving it attention underneath the rib cage of my foot. And I can feel her fingers going into it.
You've got a lot of tension going on here.
Aha. Very true.
And just in case anybody is unsure of what a pincer grasp is like this.
Like a crab.
They're like a little crab. And we're going to talk about pincer grasp a lot as we go on, but that's what that is. Just going to get this lateral edge a little bit. It's really stiff.
I mentioned in the homework video that you watched, but you know, when you're squeezing or doing the duckbill squeeze, you know, this is one of those techniques where it's really good to get every different area of the foot, and one strategy to do that well is to stand up and move around and face different directions. You'll be able to approach different parts of the feet facing different directions. And if you need to sit more, you can also just, you know, turn the chair around to face different directions.
All right. So I'm going to transition from that actually into the rib cage release just because I feel like it needs it so bad in here. How's that pressure?
Feels like you're attacking something, so that's good. Like a 7.
Okay, good.
That feels like a knot.
Yeah.
You can get knots in your feet.
Is there a difference
Yes, you
between
can.
a knot and a trigger point?
Yes. A knot and an adhesion is the same thing, though,
As a trigger point or a knot?
as a knot. So knot and adhesion are basically the same.
So how would you describe a trigger point versus that?
A trigger point usually refers pain to another area of the body, or it's exquisitely painful locally.
Radiating pain?
Yeah. All right, what's the next one on the list?
Duckbill thumb slide. Hold your hands in a duckbill position with your fingers together on top of the foot and your thumbs together below the foot, one on top of the other. Slide your thumbs back and forth medially and laterally across the foot repeatedly as you move up and down the foot towards the toes and then towards the heel.
So I saw you guys doing this yesterday, just kind of naturally. Okay. All right, what's next?
The spine Hold your hands in a loose seat position along the medial border of the foot, spine flexed. Grasp to the foot and twist both hands in opposite directions in a ringing motion. Keeping your hands in the same position, ring in the opposite direction. Continue switching directions back and forth. Move your hands along the medial border and repeat. You should be twisting the bones, not sliding over the skin.
Okay, so this one I need to stand for. And I'm going to swing around this way. I think we need to trade places. All right, so with this one, we are just holding this in place here, not pressing down, just using it to kind of anchor a little bit. And we're not going to grab with a full closed hand. We're going to just like gently with an open hand. Anytime you are grabbing legs, ankles, or wrists, you want to keep your hand open just because you want your client to be able to break that anytime. It shouldn't feel restrictive. It shouldn't feel triggering. We want to be trauma aware. So we're gonna just like a nice light anchoring, not pressing too far down. And then we are gonna just twist the foot.
Oh, it's nice.
Popped a little bit. Yes, it did. We're just doing like a little counter pressure going the opposite way so that we can get a good twist. And some people's feet will twist more than others. Don't force it.
Should we always try to like find different tempos and stuff?
It's always nice to add some variety. Although when I was in school, I worked really slowly. Like ridiculously slowly. So as I'm doing this, I'm feeling more and more of that stiffness that I mentioned earlier, heading up the ankle.
Is that where we want it to go?
Well, we want to release that area a bit. So I'm going to twist it in the opposite direction and just hold it. Just get a little stretch in that spot.
Is doing the spine twist maybe like later in the foot massage better? Like after you've like warmed some things up so you can have a little more movement?
Yeah. I would not do that when they're super cold. And also, as I'm holding here, you guys will probably have noticed, I'm using my thumb just a little bit to get into this ankle area here. Just since I'm in the area anyway, and I'm going to be adding a little pressure to this foot, I might as